What's going on, everybody? Welcome to New York Down South Sports. This is your host, Ray Diaz. Quite a bit to go over since the last time we spoke, but a lot of exciting times here. The Yankees are starting to look like they're playing regular baseball again. Still can't hit for absolute shit. Giants training camp is officially here, and football's in the air and it smells good. So I'm going to go do a little Yankee recap for this past week here. Then going to dive into training camp a little bit, talk about some of the position groups and really see where we are and some things that you're expecting to see from camp. But starting off with the Yankees. It's been a good past week and a half. Won the series against the Pirates. Won the series against Phillies in Philly, and terrible loss last night, but so far taking 2 out of 1 in Chicago against the White Sox, with, the fourth game of the series being played in probably about 30 minutes here. So hopefully we can secure the series win. But overall, it feels like, knock on wood, the Yankees have sort of snapped out of it. If there's one thing that's just absolutely for certain is that Garrett Cole is back, Max Fried is back, Cam Schlittler just simply shoving as he's been doing all season long. He looks unbelievable. The fact that we lost last night, he pitched 6 1/3 of one-run baseball, inexcusable. But he has been absolutely outstanding. Still my Cy Young candidate for the American League. I don't see how he doesn't win it at this point. But if there's one thing that's just still glaringly apparent, and I think last night's game kind of just reinforced that further, is that we just can't hit for a lick right now. We just can't hit. This is not a lineup that hits as currently constructed. Obviously, Bellinger going down doesn't help that more. The fact that he's out 4 to 6 weeks is brutal. 4 to 6 weeks at this point, and that's probably 4 to 6 weeks to an evaluation. So we truly might not see Belly until postseason time, which I firmly think we're going to be in, and we're in a position right now to get that first round bye. We just got to keep stacking these series wins and just focus on winning every single day, some way, somehow. I will say, this has been one of the there have been a couple of years here, in the past decade, where we've just had some of these disgusting, just injury-riddled years, and this has got to be one of the worst. The only other time I can think of that was this bad, I want to say it was 2019, where it was the Talkman, Mike Ford, all those guys had to come in because every single person was getting hurt. It feels like that right now. We got Schumann hitting leadoff. I mean, Volpe's, getting close to having to play every day just because we need him. I mean, Spencer Jones is here, but I'm glad he's here to kind of prove his worth and see if he's worth trading or worth hanging on to. I think he's worth trading at this point, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, we're a lot of guys are being forced to step up and being forced to get in there and make big plays. Yeah. With that being said, though, I think as much as I hate on Boone, you got to give a guy credit. I think he's managed, this entire situation, extremely well, given, just how banged up we are. It's like when Bellinger slid into second and came out of the game, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. It's just it's almost comical when you have whenever you have a season where your favorite team that you root for just has a litany of injuries, it just feels like something's out to get you. It just feels like something's out to get you. Don't know what, don't know why, but it doesn't matter. But listen, we are 5 days away, I believe. Yeah, 5 days away. No, 4 days away from the trade deadline. There are so many unknowns in the future, literally. With the impending lockout coming next season, we don't know if we're going to be playing baseball at all. God willing, we do, but we don't know that. I think it would be an indictment, and I've said this many times already, on Cashman if he does not go all in this year specifically. That being reason number one, and reason number two, this American League, the league is not scary right now. And one thing that made me feel good about that was that series with Philly over the weekend. And then even, I know the Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from us, but if we could squeeze out one more hit, which we can't freaking do right now, maybe we take 2 out of 3 from those guys. And those guys are the best in baseball. So for me right now, I just think there's so many reasons just to put your foot on the gas again, Cashman, and go all in. And I feel like the big conversation has been Mason Miller. If we can get Mason Miller, unbelievable. Guy's got 4 years left on his, 4 years of control left. Let's go get Mason Miller and let's make with him and Bednar, bullpen would be elite level bullpen. And I love an elite level bullpen. Not having to worry when you're in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning is just a beautiful thing. So if we can get Mason Miller, great. But for me, I just don't know how you don't prioritize bats at this point, because even though, Mason Miller would be amazing, getting Luke Weaver would be amazing, whatever, any of these big time relievers out there, I feel like our pitching has overall been just really, really solid. Our starting and our bullpen has even, picked it up. Bednar's been unbelievable. The only reason he let up runs the other night is because freaking, again, my favorite player, Anthony effing Volpe, drops a pop-up, which, you just can't write this stuff anymore with him. He's just so unbearable to watch. Anyways, I'm sick of talking about Anthony Volpe. I can't stand him. Get off the team. Trade him to Jupiter. I don't care. Get rid of him. But I feel like we could, if we can squeeze 1 or 2 more runs out of our lineup, I think we have a good enough team to compete in this American League field, and I think we have a good enough to compete for a World Series. So we have got to go out and get a couple of bats. And again, I said this last episode, we can't assume that Judge, Stanton, and now Bellinger are going to come back healthy. So we have to operate with the mindset that they're going to come back. They're not going to come back, rather. So that means for me, go out and get Ryan Jeffers. Go out and get another infielder. Go and get another outfielder. And if you can, maybe another bullpen arm. But I truly believe with what we have available, we can make some noise. We just can't hit. I mean, last night I felt like over the past 2 weeks, which we've been playing decent baseball, not hitting, but we've been playing decent baseball still with our pitching, and we've been winning series. But last night, we do a bunch of damage in the first inning, and then we don't put him away. And we gave him a window. We gave him a chance. And that's just so much pressure on our starting pitching, on our bullpen, night after night after night after night. We just cannot continue to put that pressure on them every night. And they're amazing. And I think it's good that they're having that pressure now, because during the postseason, that kind of pressure is on every single pitch. So it's good that they're getting that now. But we need to be able, if we're putting up 4 runs in the first inning, we got to be able to put our foot on their freaking opponent's throats. We cannot be scoring 4 runs and then doing squat for the rest of the game. It's just unacceptable. That's just unacceptable. We have to, if we are scoring 4 runs in the first inning, that has to be at least a 7 or 8 run game for us at that point. It just has to be. It just has to be. And if not for the sake of making the scoreboard look good, but again, just going back to the fact of give our pitchers a break. Give them a freaking break, man. They need it. They have been, honestly, our starters, our relievers, I mean, they're just under pressure all the time just because we have no hope at the plate. It feels like the only guy right now that's just consistently hitting, and has been all year, is Ben Rice. But he's just been the one guy right now, especially with Bellinger out. Bats. It's all about the bats. It's all about the bats. It's all about the catching. I just think we need more bats. And, I think I see people out there who are, kind of on the other side of maybe Cashman doesn't need to be this aggressive and we could still go far. But why wouldn't he be aggressive? We're trying to win a World Series. We're not trying to go far. We're trying to go to the end. We're trying to go to the promised land. So for me, and especially for a franchise that hasn't won a World Series since 2009, a franchise that let's face it, with the New York Yankees should be winning at least one World Series every decade, at least one, just given the advantage they have with payroll. I mean, why wouldn't you go for it this year, especially just seeing the landscape? Why wouldn't, if there was 1 year, and I always beg Cashman to do this, there was 1 year to just say, F the prospects, F whatever, F the, F this, F that, and go get whoever you need to get at any means necessary to win. This is the year. It is the year. It's the year right now. It is the year 2026. So I'm feeling good. I'm interested to see what happens by August 3rd. I'm saying this because these are things I want, but I do believe Cashman gets it, and I do believe Cashman is going to do this. I think by the time we hit the deadline, I believe next Tuesday, I think I'm gonna come back on here and discuss probably like 4 or 5 moves that Cashman's made to make this roster better right now. So I do think he understands the situation. I think he understands what he needs to do. I think he understands how weak the American League is. So I think, Cashman knows he needs to be aggressive. He knows it. He knows this. I'm going to have this clip sent to him directly so that he knows that's what I want, and he'll do it because it's what no, I'm kidding. But no, he knows what needs to be done, and I think he'll get it done. But yeah. We got we got one more game against the White Sox this afternoon, and then a game again, and then a weekend series against the Cubs as well. So I think at this point it's just all about stacking series wins. Take it one game at a time, keep stacking the series wins. Don't let Tampa Bay out of sight. Don't let Boston get up on our ass. It was kind of a bummer because 2 nights ago we had a perfect day where the Yankees won and everyone in the AL East lost. And then yesterday we had the imperfect day where the Yankees lost and everybody in the AL East won. So that went away really quick. But yeah, that game was just such a bummer to lose. That was just a bad loss last night, especially like you hate to lose Schlitty starts. Cam Schlittler, you hate to lose those starts. And I loved on his belt, it said Schlitt Show. I mean, talk about aura farming. That dude's just auras spilling out all over the place. I love Cam Schlittler. If you're a Yankee fan, Cam Schlittler is no doubt your favorite player on the team right now, besides Judge and maybe Judge and Garrett Cole. I mean, Cam Schlittler just has the moxie. He has the stuff. Like, he has the attitude. He is just that guy right now. And man, I just hate when we lose his starts because his starts are just so. I mean, he was 6 in the first and 1 run, and we still freaking lost. It's just bad. But it's one game. We can't let one game define what's been going on the past week and a half. I think it was said yesterday that this is the first time Aaron Boone and the Yankees are going to have like a winning July since like 2021 or 2020 or something like that. Well, it'd be 2021 probably because 2020 was like a weird shortened season because of COVID. But so that is a positive sign. And the fact that we haven't, been abysmal like we were the entire month of June and for the first like week of July is a good thing. We need to ride that momentum, and getting hot like mid to late August or getting hot early September, rather, that's when you want to get hot. You don't want to be the Red Sox who are getting hot in the middle of the season. You want to be hot towards the end going into the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm interested to see the deadline moves. If you were to ask me who I think we're going to get, there's always so much noise about these things. You never know what's going to be true, what's not. It really does seem like, and I know I just said I don't want, not that I don't want, but I don't think he should, I would go bats versus arms, but it seems like Mason Miller is like Cashman's big target from what I'm hearing and seeing. And Ryan Jeffers, I think there's no doubt we have to get a catcher and an infielder. And the reason I say that is because it'd be sick if we could get CJ Abrams from Washington, Ryan Jeffers from Minnesota. I mean, that guy seems like a guy that's, catches well and hits barrels at the baseball. So we need that. And, I think when you look at it, you look at it like relatively, like, even if we didn't get Ryan Jeffers, the Yankees, if we got just a league average catcher bat, like a catcher that's hitting 230 and 240 or something like that, which is crazy that that's the league average. That would be almost 100-point upgrade from what Wells is giving to us right now. It'd be almost 100-point upgrade. So like, Ryan Jeffers would be almost 150-point upgrade. So we're talking like that's a serious improvement if we go out and get him. But yeah, we don't need like a massive jump. We need just like a little jump because we just have a bunch of guys in our lineup who just do so many things bad. I feel like Wells, I don't see him being catcher of the future. I don't think I ever really did. Volpe, well, I you know what I'm going to say about Volpe. We don't have to get crazy about that, but you know how I feel about him. Caballero's great. He's a bench piece, and he was definitely the best option for a while. And if we have to roll with him through the postseason, fine. But I do feel like you just want like a real shortstop or like a real third base, like even Ryan McMahon. Great defensive third baseman, but just can't hit a lick. So it's really tough right now. Again, I could talk about this on Blue in the Face. I just think it's so apparent we need bats. I think bats, and a way to get rid of Anthony Volpe would be trending us in this direction versus this direction. And it really doesn't have to be that many moves, too. I feel like 2 or 3 maybe. And, we can go into and, just praying to God above that, we get Stanton, Bellinger, and Judge back. And, I hate using this line because I feel like it's disgusting and I don't like it personally, but because those 3 guys are such a big thing, it will feel like we got a huge acquisition. If all 3 of those guys could come back and be plugged into the lineup, our lineup looks totally different with those guys in the lineup. But that's why I'm saying if we can get, maybe 2 or 3 different bats, the lineup does look totally different if you add those 3 also back in. Because then we're talking Judge, Stanton, Bellinger, Bryce, Jazz. Jazz has been fine. And then, if you add in a Jeffers, if you add in a CJ Abrams, or if you add in a Luis Ariz or something like that, I mean, that is like a 1 through 7 that I'd be like feeling good about going into this postseason with, especially this postseason where I feel like we have what it takes given the rest of the league. So, lots of positive things to take away. I'm just really excited. I want it to be the trade deadline already to see who we get because I know we're going to be aggressive. I know it. 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 Cashman is going to be aggressive. He has to be. I'm putting it out there in the universe. I'm willing it to be. He has to be aggressive, and I just feel like he will be. So let me know what you think in the comments. Who are we going to get? Do you think Cashman's going to be aggressive? Are you feeling good about where we are as of this past week and a half? Please let me know in the comments. Let me know. But now, football's in the air. Training camp officially underway this week. New York Giants are back, baby. New head coach. Establishing a quarterback, new first-round picks in West Virginia, starting this thing up. I got to go on my little thing here. I'm a sportsman. I am a sportsman through and through. I love any sport. I love soccer, baseball, hockey, basketball. I love it. I love. This is why I'm doing this, because I love this shit. I love sports. It's the best. But, man, football season and the NFL product specifically, I like college football. College football is great. It's awesome. I live in the Southeast. I have to love college football. This is, dog country right here. But there's just something about when the NFL gets started that just gets my juices freaking pumping. I love the NFL. It is the best league in America. Most parity, most fun, crazy drama, most action. It is And I'm a guy who played baseball growing up my whole life. I love baseball. Baseball is my sport. If I had to pick a sport to play, it'd be baseball. But man, the NFL just rules. And I love my New York Giants, even though they've caused me and all of us Giants fans a ton of misery this past decade plus. I always tell people, like, after we won in 2011, I did not think that I would be in for a decade and a half of pure torture. But as I sit here today, it feels like I feel good about this team. I think there's some people that are overhyping this team a little bit. I think this team is going to be good, and I think we have a chance to make a playoffs. I wouldn't say we're a shoo-in for the playoffs. The NFC is really good. But I think we are going to be a good team. And I think where it all starts for me is the head coach. And I also want to address his speech that he gave the players about, like, I'm standing here in front of the New York Giants. The New York Giants. I thought it was so weird. I felt like there was a lot of backlash that he got for that. And I really didn't understand it because, like, I got what he was trying to do. I think he's just trying to, like, state how lucky those players are and how awesome it is to be a part of this franchise. Because even though it hasn't been the case the past decade and a half, the New York Giants are a legacy franchise in the NFL. We're 4-time Super Bowl champions. We're 14-time NFL champions. The New York Giants are a staple, legacy, iconic sports team in all of sports, all across all the four major sports in America. The New York Giants are that. And there is a lot of pride in wearing that uniform and getting that New York on the side of your helmet. And I feel like that has kind of been lost a little bit. Like, obviously, because we've been horrible the past decade and a half with just bad players and unfortunate situations and, bad coaching and just bad pickups, bad moves, bad general managers. It's just been, it feels like it's been the freaking Hard Knocks offseason thing. It's just all been tainted a little bit, it feels like. And I love that he's trying to get that back for us. I love that he's trying to implement that again. And I really didn't think it was like this super over exaggerated, like, oh, it's super cringe. It was a little cringe. It's football. It's supposed to be a little cringy, but I thought it was like the perfect amount because we are the New York Giants and it is important for us to recognize that pride and keep that pride that we have and rebuild that again. Because Giants pride is a real thing, and we're lucky, I'm lucky that's my team. They've given me some great moments in my lifetime, probably some of the best sports moments until very recently with these guys. But yeah, I love the New York Giants, and I am so glad that he's trying to restore the pride and how lucky, those players are to be playing for the New York Football Giants. And it's, as he says, the New York Football Giants. So I love it. Another thing, too, is that, there's been a lot of talk coming out that his practices are really tough. And I love that. I love that because I don't know if all of you remember the Hard Knocks a couple of years ago with Dan Campbell with the Lions. And he gives like this awesome speech that I really love, where he's like, I know you guys are looking at me like I'm crazy. Why do we have pads on this early? And he's like, you guys are all I think about. You guys are all I think about. Because he wants them to practice hard and practice hard early so that they don't catch their stride in, week 5 or 8 when they finally got their legs underneath them. So, and John Harbaugh's Ravens always, came out the gate pretty hot and, always, won games. So for me, I love the hard practice thing because I definitely see, especially in football, like I feel like those teams that do practice that hard during the offseason, yeah, they don't. And it always feels like it happens to us too. I don't know if you guys notice, like all these years where we started off 0-4, 0-3, 0 whatever, it always feels like there's like that little like midpoint in the season, maybe by like week 6 or 7 where we ream off like 2 or 3 wins, we look kind of good, and then it just goes back to shit. And I wonder if it's because of that. It's because like we don't have the legs underneath us to, start off the season strong and be tested already by that point. So I'm really just, everything John Harbaugh's done is good. I hate making this comparison, but it almost feels like the Knicks hiring Tom Thibodeau. The only difference is that John Harbaugh is a champion. I feel like people are forgetting that because it's far removed. It was 14 years ago, and I get that. But John Harbaugh is a Super Bowl champion, and he beat his brother, who was a damn good coach, and he beat the 49ers, who were probably a better team than them at that point. So, the culture that this guy brings is amazing. I know he didn't win with Lamar, and that's everyone's big thing is, didn't win with Lamar, didn't win the two-time MVP. I would watch a lot of those playoff games that the Ravens were in just because they were always playing like the Bills or the Chiefs, or like they were always just great matchups, and I'm a big fan of Lamar. And it just always felt like someone on the Ravens was messing up. Like truly, like the Ravens weren't getting their asses kicked in those playoff games. They weren't getting out schemed. They weren't getting out tough. They were, Lamar Jackson bad pass, Lamar Jackson interception, Mark Andrews fumble, Mark Andrews, it always felt like it was things that were just like bad timing things, and that's football sometimes, right? It sucks, but that's football. And those led to a lot of his, exits from the playoffs, and just blunders from players that like, I get it. Coaches get blamed for everything, just like the quarterback get blamed for it. Like I blame Aaron Boone for stuff all the time with the Yankees, and a lot of it's just bad players and shit he's been handed. So, I get it, but I think going back to my point, like I think this is very much like a Tom Thibodeau hire. It's a guy that's a hard ass. He's going to come in there. He's going to coach hard. He's going to build a real culture. And culture is not underrated. It is an important thing, especially from a losing franchise to break out of that. Breaking out of a losing franchise, losing culture is the hardest thing to do in sports. Ask the Cleveland Browns. Ask the Detroit Lions. Ask the New York Knicks. It is so hard. There's a reason I never thought the Knicks were going to win anything in my lifetime, is because they were such losers for so long. I don't think maybe they're optimistic up there in Cleveland, but like with the Browns, they've been so miserable for so long. It feels like, man, like there's no end in sight. But it's so hard to break out of that. And I think we have a coach and a guy that can break us out of that. Is he going to win a Super Bowl with us? I have no idea. And that's where I make the Tom Thibodeau comparison, because for me, it's one of those things where it's like, who cares if he can just get us to relevancy again, where we'll have winning seasons 4 or 5 years in a row, where we're making the postseason 4 or 5 years in a row. That's enough for me at this point. Now, if you're hitting your head on that playoff wall where you just can't break through to the big game, can't win the big game, then of course, down the line, it's like, okay, like just literally just like we did with Tom Thibodeau with the Knicks. Thank you for your service. I appreciate everything you've done, but we need to go in a different direction because we feel like we're so close. And if that's the case, like, I salute you on the way out, sir. And that's how I felt about Tom Thibodeau. I didn't understand people with the Knicks like being so like happy and like, get this guy out of here with Tom Thibodeau. Like, I did not want Tom Thibodeau. I was in that camp of not wanting him to return, but like at the same time, like when we won that chip, I was thinking about Tom Thibodeau. Like I was like thanking him, like, because he helped break us out of this. He really did. And it was before even Jalen Brunson got there. He did it with Julius Randle. So anyways, I say all this to say that I think we have a guy that can break us out of this. I really, really do. And it might not be this year either. It might be next year, but I really think we have the guy that can break us out of this, and I think is going to put good pieces around the talent we have, which I do think we have talent, to get us to relevancy and consistent winning. Because really, at the end of the day, consistent winning, like we're so spoiled with our Yankees, my fellow Yankee fans out there. We really are. Like, I complain about the Yankees all the time too, but we really are so spoiled. They're in contention every freaking year. I would give anything for all of my sports team to just be in contention for every year. Now, it does get to a point where it's like, we're not doing this just to be in contention. We want the parade, we want the rings, we want the trophy, and that's important too. And don't underestimate that. That is important, and that's where I'm at with my Yankees. But I still take a step back and I'm like, dude, they're in the conversation every freaking year. Every trade deadline is like, how do we get a piece to take us there, you know? So just get back to relevancy. That's all I'm asking. So I'm excited there. And then the other big news out of Giants training camp yesterday, how beautiful was it, ladies and gentlemen, to see number one cutting it up on the field yesterday. I could not believe it. No pup list, no we'll see. He was out on the field making cuts, catching balls, looking great. I saw something with him and OBJ doing a drill together, and I was just like, that was just awesome to see. That by far already day one is the biggest story coming out of Giants training camp. Malik Neighbors is there. Malik Neighbors is ready to rock. Now, I don't think he did first team offense yesterday, but season, then he was hurt most of last year. But I think this guy has top 5 receiver in the NFL capability, probably top 3 even. We just need to see more. But the fact that he is back and he is ready to rock, that is the most exciting thing because it takes our wide receiver room and it just completely transforms it when we have him back. I wanted to walk through some position groups throughout training camp. I guess I'll start off with wide receiver. I personally love what we've done with the wide receiver room, at least for, training camp right now. I love Darnell Mooney. I love OBJ. Duh. I don't know why I said Darnell Mooney over OBJ. In fact, OBJ, even just for the aura, OBJ, he's back in the house. If OBJ is on the team and he cribs one week run at MetLife, that stadium is going to burn to the ground. That stadium is going to go up like a Christmas tree. If OBJ can house one week one, if he makes the team and he's on the team and he's playing, if he scores one against the Cowboys, that place is going to go absolutely ballistic, me included. I will go crazy, whether I'm watching there or I'm watching from my home. I will go absolutely apeshit if he cribs one. Because he should have never left. That's a whole different story, but he should have never been gone. He should have been with us the whole time. That dude is a giant. He was meant to be a giant. I'm glad he got his ring with LA because he deserved it. I think he's that spectacular of a player. So it's just great to see him. Anyways, but Mooney, we got him, we got Juju Smith-Schuster, we got Calvin Austin. We just brought in a bunch of like really solid veterans. And then, every one of my sports teams, there's always an Anthony Volpe on that team. And for me with the Giants, it is Darius Slayton. I cannot stand that guy. I really can't. It's so depressing how far we've fallen when he's been our best receiver for the past couple of years because just the drops, the unwillingness to sacrifice. He drops the ball and then I don't know what to do. It's happened so much. And I personally, just with guys that are droppers, it's just I don't see how you give those guys like automatic, like you're in the starting lineup for our wide receiver group. I just don't see how you do it. And especially, it's not been like a one season. Darius Slayton has been this way since he's been in the league with us. I do not want to see him on this team after this year. I think his contract is up after this year. I hope so. Might be the year. Yeah, I think it might be this year. I hope it is because I just don't want to see him on the field. I'm really hoping that Malachi Fields like wows everybody in training camp and ends up being like the stud receiver because that he was in college. Because if it's him and then if it's Malachi Fields and Malik Neighbors and then maybe OBJ in the slot, that would be sick as our starting wide receiver core. I'd be really happy with that because we have 2 youthful guys and then a veteran that's savvy. So I love our wide receiver room. I can't wait to see how that shakes out. I know Darius Slayton is going to be here. Like, he's under contract with us, but it does get to a point with me with Darius Slayton where it's like, especially, and I don't think John Harbaugh is going to do that. If Darius Slayton goes out there weeks, 1 through 4, and he's dropping passes in critical moments, fumbling, making bad mistakes, I don't think John Harbaugh is going to be the kind of guy that's like, yeah, just keep playing, buddy. I think he'll rip his ass out of the game. And we'll go with literally anything else, which is what I've been wanting my Giants to do forever. So, It's an interesting room right now. The fact that without Malik Neighbors, our wide receiver room looks absolutely atrocious and pathetic. With Malik Neighbors, it looks somewhat solid, and especially there's some question marks that we don't know. As far as like our rookie with Fields, and how Slayton will come back this year, and then some of these vets. I think all those vets that we brought in, besides OBJ, because I'm not going to just sit here and glaze OBJ, the one veteran that we brought in that I think can actually make a really big difference and play a lot, and I saw him play here in Atlanta, was Darnell Mooney. Um, Darnell Mooney was a great number 2 for the Falcons, playing behind Drake London. I watched him a lot. It was unfortunate. He was just injury prone last year, but the year before, he was an absolute stud for them. Really fast guy, good hands, could get in the end zone, create that separation. So, if he can get back to where he was before the injury, which, I mean, it felt like he barely played last year, so hopefully he's had enough of an offseason to, get himself right and get himself back to normal. I still think there's a lot of juice in that tank for Darnell Mooney to go out there and be a solid receiver for us. So, I think the wide receiver room for me is the one that's the most interesting going into training camp, just because of those big names that we brought in, and it'll be exciting to see, who we end up rolling out there as our wide receiver group for Week 1 against the Cowboys. But man, I'm just so happy that football's back. It's going to be great. I just can't wait for. I'm already. I never want the summer to be over quickly, but I'm ready to. I am so ready to get past Labor Day and get started with these games. So, anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun here. Yeah, we will see what happens. But Yankees are about to throw the first pitch here in a little bit. So thank you for joining us today. Let me know what you think, what the Yankees should do at the deadline, and then let me know how you're feeling about the New York Giants as training camp gets underway. What's getting you excited? And as always, if you're enjoying my content, please like and subscribe. I love doing this, so happy to bring this to you every week. But thanks for sitting with me, and hope you have a great weekend. Peace.